Hey everyone, it's Rachel Knapp here, and my special guest is Marcella Morales from Certainty Home Lending. And this wasn't intended to be any kind of podcast or recording, but we were talking about a great topic. And I really was talking to Marcella about getting some more help for my buyer programs. And we figured, let's just hop on a call. So impromptu, here we are, Marcella and Rachel talking about, I was asking Marcella about the Virginia housing, and you were talking to me about Spark, which is another layered program in Northern Virginia. So Marcella, tell us about it.
Definitely happy to share this information, Rachel. As I mentioned to you earlier, Virginia Housing has so many programs, okay? Basically, they always gonna give you 2% grant on top of the value of the property. Everybody who purchases with Virginia Housing will have to meet some requirements like income limit, the value of the property cannot be higher than 750. It's not difficult to meet this. Income limit is pretty high. On top of this 2% grant, there is another benefit called a Spark. A Spark is a way that Virginia Housing puts money on the market through different nonprofit organizations. These organizations have funds to lower the interest rate of a property by 1%. So what this means, right now, if you get under contract today with a conventional loan, your interest rate will be 7%. Your payment for a 400,000 home, let's say, will be around 2,800. Okay, this is just random numbers. If this client immediately, as soon as they get ratified contract, obviously we qualify him with a Virginia housing loan. He gets the ratified contract. I put him in touch with one of these nonprofit organizations because right now there is more than one. We put him in touch with them. They have to do some homework. They have to do a one-on-one class. They have to attend a specific class. Some of them ask for in person, but most of them get done online. And then they have to complete the spending plan. They have to send to these nonprofits some information like your pay stubs, your IDs, easy stuff. They immediately, this organization will send us a form accepting the Spark benefit for them. And that form, I send it to Virginia Housing. So when I lock you at 7%, it's going to turn into a 6%. What is this? It's about a $400 savings per month in your 30-year loan. So keep in mind, 6%, it is a great interest rate. I don't think we've been on the 6% in the probably last year. So I think it is a great benefit. And on top of this, they are still receiving the 2% grant if they qualify for that, right? There are ways that you can qualify for the grant and the discount on the rate, or sometimes you only qualify for the discount on the rate because the grant, you made too much money for the grant. But it's even higher, the income limit for people who buys a bond program without the down payment assistance. So we just want our clients to reach out. They can email you, they can email me, and we want to explain in detail. Every situation is different. So we want to make sure they qualify for it because they have to be first-time buyers.
Well, let me ask some basic questions though, just a couple, just so I'm clear, because I've used a lot of different, you've helped with a lot of different programs, getting our buyers in for the best, that needed a little bit of help. So the Virginia housing, that's the grant. Okay. So they will apply, there's an income limit on Virginia housing. They could only make so much, and they can go over these details with me. I don't like to get involved in some of these details, but there's income limits depending on how many people, right? That grant is a grant. It's not a second trust. It's not a loan. It's a grant, pure grant. Okay. So up to 2% that can help them with their closing costs, also down payment, whatever it is, it's 2% at the closing table, the 2% less they have to pay, right? Out of all those costs, right? Correct. Okay, so then they apply for that, of course, but do they have to take a class for that? They have to take a Virginia housing class, right?
The Virginia Housing requires the Virginia Housing first-time home buyer class that can be done online.
Right, so they need to do that before we even start looking at houses, before we go into contract. We got to make sure
they can do it during the process.
While we're in the process, before we go into contract or after we go into contract?
Honestly, I had clients that have done it after we got under contract, but let's be honest, let's do it before.
Yeah, get ready. Yeah, get all the ducks, get everything prepared. Okay, so we have the grant. So that's helpful for money out of pocket, cash out of your pocket. Then we talk about Spark, and Spark is, if they qualify with these, and I guess you can say these nonprofits are kind of like they're investing money into this program. Is it going to run out?
It's a first come, first serve basis. Each nonprofit has their own guidelines, and not all of them are nonprofits. Many of them are the counties. For example, Fairfax County doesn't have any funds right now. they are expecting to receive some on July 1st because July 1st is the start of the fiscal year for Virginia housing. However, there are another nonprofits that I can help if a person is buying in Fairfax County. But this other nonprofit requires no more than 80% income. So each nonprofit will have their own guidelines of who qualifies for this benefit. That's why it's so specific to each buyer, but we definitely can find somebody to help them.
He has to get started to see if you qualify, get pre-qualified, get this whatever program, whether it's the grant with money or actually pay, they could actually affect how much money comes out of their pocket at closing and how much they pay each month for the mortgage. Okay, that's amazing. So you said Fairfax County. So what if like they're going, like let's say Prince William also, they're just Spark is there too as well, right?
Correct. Spark is available anywhere in Virginia. Virginia Housing has 40 nonprofit, between nonprofits and counties, they have 40 providers of Spark. Okay. Each area has their own organizations. Loudoun County has their own guidelines. Arlington has their own guidelines. Alexandria as well, but each of them have their own small guidelines to get the benefit. For example, just one example, Loudoun County, you need to live or work in Loudoun for more than 6 months.
I got it. So, okay. Yeah, I've heard of that with different other grant programs. So the idea is to find out where you're at right now and find out what, and I guess the sooner the better before they run out of funds. So we have Virginia Housing and Spark that can work together for both sides, down payment and mortgage rate, and then just the month down payment and monthly payment, basically down payment month. Okay, so then it's good to know that there's some refresh happening July 1st, because I always assume by this time of year we've run out of some of these programs. You had said also you left me a message that you might have you have some information about something coming up in Maryland.
That is correct. Okay. Actually, in Maryland, I found a new nonprofit organization. This is a nonprofit organization, only one, that provides 10,000 grant. It's a grant. It's not a second mortgage. It's a truly grant for first-time home buyers who make less than 80% average median income, which should be around 122,000. Actually, it just went up. So we probably are at around 129,000 now because they just increased. So the borrower in this scenario is totally different. We have to prepare the borrower. The borrower has to take a first-time homebuyer class with the nonprofit, and it's a 6-hour, 3-hour class Saturday, 3-hour class on Sunday in person.
Okay.
In person.
Is Spark in person? Wait, go back to Virginia. Is Spark in person?
Spark is online. Everything is online.
So Virginia's online. And then come over to Maryland. Maryland's in person.
Maryland is in person.
Okay.
I know I already have a client. They enroll on this. So it's 3 hours on a Saturday, 3 hours on a Sunday. And on top of that, after they took this class, they have to have a one-on-one session with a hot counselor. And that will be an hour sometime during the week. And I am sure that will be done over the phone, right? But basically, you need to have these classes before you even write a contract. So if you wrote a contract on May 25th, you don't qualify anymore for them.
Because you need to get dialed. You need to get dialed up. Right. Okay. You need to be ready before you even go out. Okay.
And that's the perfect way to do it, because you don't want to take these classes before you start dealing with contracts and visiting homes, right?
Yeah, so that's what with my clients, we do that. We get them ready, but it's interesting. But go ahead.
Yeah. So basically, the way that it works is once you have this certificate that you took these classes, is good for a year, and you need to make sure you buy a home within that year. If you, for some reason, extend your search over the home, you just need to make sure you renew these classes. But you don't want to get under contract without having this certificate. Now, this nonprofit wants to help to people that purchases in a specific areas, census tract in Montgomery County. So you need to make sure the property qualifies for it. And I can send you the link. You also want to, in PG County, it's also based on census tract, but right now they have enough funds. So they are opening these to anywhere in PG County. But traditionally, the program is for a specific census tract. They have so much money right now that Prince George is anywhere.
So anywhere in Prince George's, specific area, approved areas in Montgomery. What about like Anne Arundel or Charles? Any of those that you're aware of?
I just mentioned those two. I don't see they would be in another county.
All right. Okay. There's a lot of there's some inventory in those areas. So all right, I'm always just afraid they're going to run out. So yes, so once they get their, what we call it, certified, we go through the 6 hours, they're certified. Does that say, okay, I can use this certification and I'm approved for this grant? Is it up to 10,000 or just automatically 10,000?
It's
It's like a
automatically
range.
10,000.
Okay. What are some other, give me an example of another qualification. The income level can't be too much. What about credit score?
No.
Is that,
No, because this is a great thing. It works with any type of loan. So if a client has 630 credit, I will qualify him with an FHA loan, and they just bring 10,000 for that FHA loan.
so you can layer this with an FHA?
Right. You can layer this with any type of loan. It could be conventional, FHA, or any other program that has their own grant. Get it?
Okay.
So the beauty of this program, this 10,000, is pretty flexible with what program we choose as a lender. They are already approved by my company because obviously we also need to approve who's sending the funds. Everything has been approved. The other condition that you mentioned, for example, is that you cannot have non-occupant borrowers. So everybody who will live on the home must be everybody who gonna be on the loan must live in the home, and everybody must be a first-time home buyer. Also, the household income cannot exceed 120,000 because it's 80% average median income. They also take in consideration any adult over 18 years old. So if you have a kid that has a part-time job, we have to use their income as part of the 120.
If they're an occupant, if they're on the loan or if they're an occupant, if they're on the loan,
They are occupant.
if they're
It's
on
household-
is it okay? So it's if they're on the title or the loan or just anyone living there.
anyone living in the home.
Oh,
So
okay.
let's say we have a mom, dad, and 2 kids. One of them is 18. We have 3 adults, right? So
Right.
we will add up the 3 incomes. They cannot exceed 120%.
Okay.
120%. And basically, if the kid makes 5,000 a year, those 5,000 will be counted towards the 120%. And my apologies, is 120% average median income, not 120,000. 120%
Okay.
with about 200,000.
Okay. So with the combined households,
Correct.
Yeah, okay. Okay, great. So, all right. So we have that, and then so obviously can't be an investor. You can't have tenants. You can't just be, it has to be owner occupied, of course. It
Owner
has to be-
occupied,
Mhm.
a first-time home buyer. Yep.
And first time home buyer. And the Virginia housing on Spark, same thing, owner occupied. These are help. It's people help. It's not help for investors and landlords. It's help for people who need a home to live in. They want to buy the home instead of rent their home. They want to hang on. Okay. No, it's a pathway. It's an amazing pathway. So great. Okay. So I'm just going to put this information out there for my clients, and I know you must have some literature available, or you're putting together literature in case they want information, or they can just schedule a time with you. But thank you, Marcella Morales with Certainty Home Lending, which is a division of Rate Mortgage, right? Rate Mortgage. And again, I'm Rachel Knapp, Coldwell Banker Realty, homeresults.com. And yes, thank you. I think this was super helpful. I'm excited to get this information out to the minute I get off. I'm just going to send this out to a couple of my clients right now. So great news. We needed this. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. Definitely. I'm going to send you right now an email with detailed explanation of the conditions, just so you can know what is applicable to your client. I have the email ready going to your email.
Thanks so much, Marcella. Thank you.